coat, stepped closer. He forced his voice to be low. "I have little money on me, if that's what you've come for." "It's not your money I've come for. It's Captain Rafferty's money." Perspiration stung William's eyes. "I have given Rafferty my note of hand. We agreed on the terms. I have 3 months left to provide the funds, and I will." The man smirked and called over his shoulder to the men behind him. 3 months, lads. What do we think about that? Seems like an awfully long time to me." The men snickered. William clenched his teeth as the pistol pressed against the wool fabric of his greatcoat. The stranger's gravelly voice was as threatening as a pistol. "I got concerned, you understand. You left London in a hurry. Secretly, as if to avoid us. Why, you didn't even say farewell, and you've been gone for so long." A sneer cracked the man's face, and the moon's light fell on his crooked teeth. The pounding in William's head intensified. The men behind his accuser cackled. "We need to remind this fine gentleman that the captain won't take kindly if his money's not there when he sets foot on land again, after all those months at sea. And it's my job to make sure the captain stays happy." The man grabbed William's coat, yanked a button free, and ripped his leather pouch from the safety of his person. Without glancing down at his prize, the stranger tossed the leather packet to one of his partners. William's attacker leaned in closer. His breath reeked of ale. If it had been only the one man, William would have taken a chance and fought. He could hold his own in a brawl, but with 3, experience affirmed, he'd stand little chance. A man standing behind the others walked over and slapped Angus's hindquarters and shouted, sending the animal off into the black of night. Without a horse, William was at their mercy. He pressed his lips together and looked toward the stirring clouds. "Tonight I will meet my maker." The gun dug into his belly. Chest heaving, William forced himself to look at his assailant. He knew not the man's identity, but he knew one thing with certainty. Rafferty cavorted with the darkest sort, the most dangerous, evil men. William should know, for he had done the same. William shifted. "All my money is in there. I've nothing else to give you. If you kill me, you'll never get the rest of it. What would Rafferty have to say then?" The man's low, wide-brim hat shadowed his eyes. "Consider our visit a reminder. Either the good captain gets his money, or you die." A sardonic laugh oozed from the man's unkempt face. "Just so you were fully aware, I'll be the one who has the pleasure of carrying out that order." Without another word, the man's balled fist slammed into William's gut, stealing the wind from his lungs and hurling him backward. He lost his footing on the moor's icy carpet, and the sudden jolt hurled him back against the rocky crag. Before he could regain his balance, someone grabbed his coat and a fist slammed into his jaw. He fell. His head struck rock. He moved to stand, but as he did, one of the cloaked figures kicked his middle. William collapsed, his cheek flat against the snow. A form approached, but William did not move. He could not move, even if he so desired. 3 months, Sterling." Another sharp kick thrust white stars across his vision, curling him in agony. His breath came in jagged gasps and burned like fire. The voices were muffled. William could no longer decipher their words. A tunnel of sound whirred around him, then the ground beneath him trembled as he heard the horse's hooves thunder off. "You're alive." William lay still on the icy ground and groaned. The voices in his head were taunting him louder than his attackers and were impossible to ignore. "Considering the sorry state of you, you should be grateful." Then all was still, quiet, save for the whistle of the wind through the barren branches. William assessed his condition, limb by limb. Nothing appeared to be broken, but one eye was swelling shut and salty blood covered his lips. After several attempts, William managed to roll over onto his knees. Fresh snow had begun to fall and had accumulated on his coat. He shook his arms and it scattered. He attempted a whistle, hoping that by a miracle Angus would hear, but his upper lip was beyond such a task, so he waited and listened for any indication that his horse had not abandoned him. He heard nothing, save for the mournful two-wit calls of the owls on a distant moor. He shouted as loud as his lungs would allow, "Angus!" Nothing. Head throbbing, ribs aching, he winced at the pain of simply breathing. He scanned his surroundings, disoriented. Had he been a more attentive estate master, he would know exactly how